الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وأرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه وجعلنا من الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه وأدخلنا برحمتك في عبادك الصالحين وتقبل منا صلاة العشاء مع الجماعة الحاضرين يا رب العالمين. Inshallah, tonight we're going to start our, I believe it is the 5th session on Aqīdah of Imam al-Tahāwī. If you remember, last time we reached up to point number 39. So tonight we're going to continue from point 40 and on. Our Hafiz here, Hafiz Fawaz, is going to do the matn, the Arabic text. You can start. Bismillah. وَكُلُّ مَا جَاءَ فِي ذَلِكَ. Is that the one or?
No, you already did that.
Okay, so where did we stop then?
Next point, 2.
Is it 44? وَلَا يَصِحُّ الْإِيمَانُ. Okay, so then it is point number 44. I believe we have covered. No, we did not cover this. You start from. Okay.
ولا تثبت قدم الإسلام إلا على ظهر التسليم والاستسلام فمن رام علم ما حضر عنه علمه ولم يقنع بالتسليم فهمه حجبه مرأمه عن خالص التوحيد وصافي المعرفة وصحيح الإيمان فيتذبذب بين الكفر والإيمان والتصديق والتكذيب والإقرار والإنكار موسوسا تائها زائغا شاكا لا مؤمنا مصدقا ولا جاحدا مكذبا.
So this point right here, point number 43, whoever covets knowledge that was buried from him, disconnected with the limits of his understanding, shall be veiled from pure unity, which is the Tawheed, shall be veiled from the pure unity. So I'll just stop right here without continuing anymore with the sentence, so we can have an explanation of this one. So pretty much it's talking about a person who is looking forward to get into something that is not his business. If I can say in very simple words, there are certain things that may not necessarily be your business to know or to deal with. These are things that belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We believe in the secrets, we believe in the unseen. So if we believe in the unseen, then there are certain things that we cannot get into the details. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ قُلِ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي. They asked the Prophet ﷺ about the spirit. I would translate nafs as a soul, but ruh I would translate it as the spirit. Everybody is blessed with a soul and also with spirit. Actually, we may have different parts of our soul, but there is also a spirit, a different entity within ourselves. So the Quran says, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ. They ask you about this. قُلِ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي. If I may translate it to make it very easy understood, say that ruh, the spirit, it is from the business of my Lord. In other words, you don't have to deal with that stuff. You don't have to delve into it. It's God's business. There are certain things that even if we may have some knowledge about it, it's just, it's not beneficial, number one, and number two, we may not be able to comprehend. We always want to comprehend everything, want to understand everything, but there are certain things that are beyond our capacity because our brain is limited. There are certain things that are above our limitation. And if you're asking to know things that are above your limitations, then it would be a knowledge that it is not accessible and it is not worthy for you to know or understand. Or even understanding it, it would be impossible to even understand that. Musa alayhi salam asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, can I see you? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is in the Quran, He said, look at that mountain right there. There was such a light that Musa alayhi salam was not even able to see that. And he fell down right away. Because his eyes, his visioning was not made for him to see something that is supernatural. Can Allah make certain things that are invisible for the others visible for certain other individuals? Definitely He can. But it has to be through some filters and through some ways that God knows how. But to see things with your own eye that are unable, your vision is unable to perceive it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed him a type of light. Musa just fell down because he was unable to process that. His vision was unable to process. It is like saying, for example, you go outside of this orbit. What are you going to hit? I mean, you go outside of the atmosphere. You go to stratosphere. You go to other layers. If you go to moon, are you able to breathe? Your lungs were not made for that. Your lungs were not made for that. It's just not possible. You cannot resist under the water for more than a few minutes. Otherwise you die. But at the same time you see the fish swimming and staying all life long down deep in the water. Why? Because the fish has different organism inside, has different, the body of the fish functions differently in the way how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the fish to function, and it's fine with that. But the fish too cannot live outside either. So there are certain things that you just cannot do. So the same way too for the brain, there are certain things that the brain as well cannot perceive. Just as your body cannot perform certain things, your brain also cannot perceive certain things either. Otherwise there's a conflict. Otherwise there's a shutdown. I have not reached that state to let you know and to tell you that this, all the details, but this is what we know. From the scholars and from the books, this is what they say, that, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells that. قُلِ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي. Say that the soul, say that the spirit, it is from the affairs of my Lord. It's from the matters that deal with my Lord. Or Lord deals with those certain matters. And they asked the Prophet other questions. They asked the Prophet about Dhul Qarnayn in Surah Al-Kahf. They asked Prophet ﷺ about many things. Jews, Arabs, they asked him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed even the names of the brothers of Yusuf that Arabs were unfamiliar with. Arabs were unfamiliar with all the brothers of Yusuf. But in order for God to show a miracle to His servant so the others they can be convinced, He revealed all the names. And Prophet was able to mention these names in front of the people. So information, when it comes to information that is accessible, Allah revealed to the Prophet ﷺ. Stories that nobody knew except the scholars among the Jews, for example, Prophet ﷺ received the revelation in regards to them. And he, delivered to the people. So they can. But again, when it comes to those certain questions, Allah says, no, that's it. This is my business, He says. You don't have to get into that stuff. Alright, so here, what does this say again? No one, it says, whoever covets knowledge that was bared from him. Bared from him, it means that it is beyond his capacity to know. So whoever gets into the business that whoever puts his nose, sticks his nose in a place where you don't have a business, right? Disconnected with the limits of his understanding. shall be veiled from the pure unity. What does it mean, shall be veiled? There's going to be a curtain that he will not be able to see beyond. Beyond, what is beyond? From the pure unity. What is pure unity? Tawheed. Tawheed is the essence of what God is calling us to believe into. So you will be barred, you will be blocked from really witnessing. How do you witness that? With your soul, right? With your heart. You witness the purity of the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is like saying the purity of faith. It is like saying the purity of faith. You will not be able to taste that, the purity of tawheed, the purity of faith in your heart. Why? Because you're getting into business that doesn't concern you. An adulterated comprehension and sound faith on account of his covetousness. He will then vacillate between belief and disbelief. بين الكفر والإيمان. فيتذبذب بين الكفر والإيمان. He is going to vacillate between kufr and iman. Today he is going to be a believer. Tomorrow he is going to be a non-believer. After tomorrow, a believer, again a non-believer. So today he is good, tomorrow he is no good. Why? Because of getting into certain things that don't concern him. When I say this, I don't expect majority of the people to get into that stuff. Majority of people don't get into that. But people who read a lot of books, people who get especially into philosophy, psychology, all of these things, they are eager to learn a lot of other things, which is good. I mean, to learn more and more. Philosophy is good, psychology is good, all of these things are good. All of these disciplines are very well, and we are actually encouraged to delve ourselves into all of these things because they are beneficial for most of it. But when these sciences or these disciplines, they would lead you to ask questions more and more. People, they keep going and going and going and going, and when there is a limit, is there a limit? Knowledge has no limit, but our brain has a limit. Reality, God has no limit, but our brain has a limit. So yes, you dwell into it, but when it comes to certain aspects that, you know what, they're not going to be beneficial for you, then you have to stay away from those. Why? The question is why again? So you do not lose the essence. You don't lose your focus. Focus is somewhere else, not into those things that you're not made, to know or to have access to. That's why this is a very important thing, and the Imam here mentions in the book of Aqīdah, especially for those people who delve into questions. When Prophet ﷺ talks about children, when he talks about children of Israel, he says that a lot of things, or actually he talks about the nations before you, he refers to the nations before Muslims. He says that one of the causes that destroyed them the most is the asking of questioning to their prophets. When he says asking the questions, he's referring to questions that are unimportant, or questions that there are no benefits from asking those questions. So he will then vacillate between belief and disbelief, assertion and negation. Assertion means affirming the existence of God, affirming pillars of faith. Negation is what? Denying them. So here he will believe in certain things, but then again he will say, oh, according to my understanding, according to my principles of philosophy, for example, this just doesn't make sense. So I'm just completely going to reject that. And there's a lot of Muslims like that out there who say, we believe in this, but we have hard time to accept this. Or like these deviated sects that we mentioned earlier. They have hard time accepting, the destiny, the right understanding, the right approach of destiny. They either say that we're just completely free to do whatever we want and we will be judged, our destiny is based on what we do. And there are those who say, no, we're just robots. God created us either for hellfire or paradise, and that's it. We're just serving that and just doing whatever He wants us to do, and we're prisoners of our own destiny. So these are all deviations. Why? Because of those, getting into things that they're not concerned. These are not concerns to individuals. So there will be between, again, assertion and negation and resolution and denial. Obsessive, aimless, skeptical. They're skeptic for everything. And deviant, lost. The person will neither be an assertive believer nor a resolute denier. Will not be able to really believe with power and believe everything what needs to believe, but also will not be able to deny everything in totality as well. Alright, so we move on to the other point.
ولا يصح الإيمان بالرؤية لأهل دار السلام لمن اعتبرها منهم بوهم أو تأولها بفهم إذ كان تأويل الرؤية وتأويل كل معنى يضاف إلى الربوبية ترك التأويل ولزوم التسليم وعليه دين المسلمين ومن لم يتوفق النفي والتشبيه زل ولم يصب التنزيه.
والتأويل ولزوم التسليم وعليه دين المسلمين وشرائع النبيين. Right? Oh, you don't have the شرائع النبيين. Okay.
ومن لم يتوفق النفي والتشبيه زل ولم يصب التنزيه فإن ربنا جل وعلا موصوف بصفات الوحدانية منعوت بنعوت الفردانية ليس في معناه أحد من البرية.
Okay. So the other point is that belief in the beatific vision. Beatific vision was believing in seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your capacity that He will give you in the hereafter. This is called the ru'yatullah subhanahu wa ta'ala, visioning Him, or the beatific vision of the denizens of paradise, of people of paradise. So belief in this beatific vision of the denizens of paradise is incorrect for anyone who surmises or who interprets that it is imaginary or interprets it to be a type of comprehension. For correct interpretation of the beatific vision or any quality annexed to lordship lies in leaving interpretation and cleaving to resignation. In other words, adhering to submission. Okay, to make it simple, easy understood, there are certain people who say, certain groups, or I can say that these used to be back in the days, who used to believe that this is just not true, that we're going to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There was also another group, these are the Mujassims. You remember Mujassims, the anthropomorphists, those who associate human qualities to God. They also said that you will be able, or they would take this hadith where Prophet says, do you see this moon tonight? And they said, yes, this is how you will see God in the hereafter, in Jannah, full moon. Like you will be able to see God like this. So they said, based on these hadiths and the verses that we have, and these hadiths are mutawatir, by the way, narrated to us, that comes from many companions and from many tabi'eens and so on. So there are many of them who narrate these hadiths. So they say that seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will be able to see Him physically as you see the moon. Mujassims, again the anthropomorphists. You will have the ability to see God just as you see the moon. We say that you will be able to see God like you see the moon, meaning clearly. Not necessarily because moon is in a particular place at a particular time. So hadith does not mean that you will see God in a particular place, particular time, but it means that you will see it clearly, just as the people back at the time of the Prophet, they were able to see the moon clearly. Why do I interpret it that way? Why do we interpret it that way? Because لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. The Quran says there is nothing like Him. And the moment I say that I will be able to see Him in a certain form, in a certain place, in a certain time, then I am limiting Him. And God cannot be limited. Something that is limited is not God anymore. How? Alright. If I'm going to say that God, or like there are people who say that God is everywhere. Have you heard that? Do you believe in God? Yes. Where is God? My friend, God is everywhere, they say. Wrong. Because everywhere is also a place. We don't know. We just don't, we definitely know actually that He doesn't fit in space, time, or form. He doesn't. Why? Because He is the one who created them to begin with. He is the one who created time. But time does not, He doesn't fit in time. We fit in time. We're young, we get old, we die, we're resurrected. This is about time. We fit in space. We fit in a form. We have a form. But He's the creator of all of these forms, shapes, space and time. And if He Himself would fit in it, it means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is fitting in something that is temporary. Or it means that He is associating, He is being a part of something that at least had a beginning. Where I'm trying to go with this, let me simplify it a little bit. Let me come down a little bit. Me as a person, if I create something, can I fit in it? Yes. No. I can create a car, I can fit in it. Yes. I can create a toy, I cannot fit in it. A lot of things that we create, we don't fit in them. But we use them for a particular thing. Now, even if I fit in it, I fit because I need it. Because I am limited to place, time, and form. Therefore, this gives me the ability to fit in those. Now imagine the Creator. We believe that He has no beginning. We believe that He has no end. We also believe that His attributes, they have no beginning, they have no end. Right? He is knowledgeable, but He was always knowledgeable, and He will always remain knowledgeable. He's the one who created the place. So the place was created. And if He's going to fit in something that is created, then we're facing a problem here now. Because we're associating something to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who was never created to begin with. Or if we say that, for example, God reads the way how we're reading, then God is utilizing these human forms of reading, and He needs them. That means that He needs them. So no matter how we look at these things, we will be limiting God subhanahu wa ta'ala from certain things. And the moment you limit God, then you're going to hit a problem. Even in paradise, God cannot fit in paradise. Why? Because paradise is a created thing. Paradise is a created thing that He cannot fit in paradise either. Are we going to be able to see Him while we are in paradise? Yes. But in no form, in no place, and in no time. The way how we see, Allah will know how He is going to enable us to see Him. We give up there. But this is very important to understand. Is there any question before we move on in regards to this point? Okay. So, believe in the beatific, for correct interpretation of the beatific vision for any quality and next to lordship lies in leaving interpretation and cleaving to resignation. So, you leave interpreting with your own things, like saying, yeah, this and that. You just say that we just don't know. Like I said, we're going to see God, We know that He doesn't fit in place, in time and form. We know that because the Quran talks about this. Therefore, we just leave it there. How? We don't know. Can this be just metaphoric? No. Because there are statements out there that says that you will see Him clearly as you see the moon. So that's why it moves away, thoughts or ideas that, this is just metaphoric meaning, like some interpreted this. We have enough evidence that it'll be, the humans will be able, good people in paradise will be able to see Him, but not, like I said, in a particular place, shape, or time. Well, you had a question?
Will we speak to Him? Talk to Him, have a conversation with Him?
Definitely. Upon this are based the religion of the Muslims and the sacred laws of the Prophet. So this is pretty much the base, the foundation of our religion and the messages that the other prophets also preached before. And then it says, whoever does not guard against denying God's attributes and against anthropomorphism has erred, has made a mistake, and failed to acquire understanding of divine transcendence. They fail to really understand the true qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those who are associating human qualities to God, attributing human qualities to Him. For undoubtedly, our Lord, the Sublime and Exalted, is described with the attributes of unity and uniqueness. منعوت بنعوت الفردانية ليس بمعناه أحد من البرية. So He is described with the attributes of unity and uniqueness. No one in creation is in any way like Him. We just mentioned this earlier. وتعالى, this was
وتعالى عن الحدود والغايات والأركان والأعضاء والأدوات لا تحويه الجهات الست كسائر المبتدعات.
Yes. So He's transcended beyond limits. God is transcendent beyond limits, beyond ends, beyond supports, components. What does it mean, components? Like body parts, limbs that we have. He doesn't have any of that stuff. Or instruments. The 6 directions do not contain Him as they do created things. What are the 6 directions? Front, back, right, left, up, down. These are all the 6 different directions that we are limited to. But these 6 directions, He's not limited to them. All right. As they do created things, right? So the next one, والمعراج.
والمعراج حق وقد أسري بالنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وعرج بشخصه في اليقظة إلى السماء ثم إلى حيث شاء الله من العلا وأكرمه الله بما شاء وأوحى إليه ما أوحى ما كذب الفؤاد ما رأى وصلى الله عليه وسلم في الآخرة والأولى.
صلى الله عليه وسلم. والمعراج حق. As for the ascension, this is haqq, this is true. وقد أسري بالنبي عليه الصلاة والسلام وعرج. There are 2 words being used here. Isra, and you have also Mi'raj. Isra wal Mi'raj. We call it sometimes the night of journey of the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام. Remember, there are hadiths where he says that he was sleeping while the roof was open. Angels came to him, took him with a buraq, and he went to Bayt al-Maqdis, Jerusalem. That was the first place where he prayed together with all the prophets. I mean, he stopped before between Mecca and Medina and other places too, but this journey from Mecca to Jerusalem, it's called Isra. Isra refers to this night journey. And then Sarah, it comes from the Arabic. When it comes to the ascension between earth to heaven, we call that Mi'raj. Mi'raj, going from earth all the way to heaven. And we know about the details of the hadith that talks about, the Prophet meets certain prophets and he sees certain people and he talks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way how he talked to him. And here it says, وَأَوْحَى إِلَيْهِ مَا أَوْحَى. This is from the Quran, from Surah Al-Najm. God revealed to Prophet ﷺ whatever he revealed. In other words, we don't know what. But we have some idea, we have some narrations about certain things like at-tahiyyatu lillah wa-salawatu wa-tayyibat and so on. But whatever the rest was it, we just don't have knowledge about. وَأَكْرَمَهُ اللَّهُ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى بِمَا شَاءَ. So he honored him. God is the one who honored the Prophet ﷺ. وَأَوْحَى إِلَيْهِ مَا أَوْحَى مَا كَذَبَ الْفُؤَادُ مَا رَأَى. See, there's a word being used here. Fu'ad. Fu'ad, it refers to the heart. The sensitive heart. Not just heart in general, but a very unique part of the heart. مَا كَذَبَ الْفُؤَادُ. It is the place where the perception goes to. This fu'ad. مَا كَذَبَ. Did not belied him what it saw. What the heart saw did not belie the Prophet ﷺ. So whatever he saw was reality. Sometimes when we're asleep, or sometimes even people, sometimes they can see things and go like, whoa, what did I just see? And people go like, we didn't see nothing because there was nothing there. Oh, maybe my eyes, maybe I was just feeling so tired and I thought I saw a shadow right there. That is false vision that you're having for the moment. So your eye is belying to you because of you being tired. مَا كَذَبَ الْفُؤَادُ مَا رَأَى. His heart did not fail him to see the true haqq of that night. Things were real. فَصَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. May Allah, shower him with His peace and His blessings in this, in the akhirah and also in this dunya, in this world. Yes.
والحوض الذي أكرمه الله تعالى به ضيافا لأمته حق.
Hawd is also another term right here being used. Hawd refers to the pool or the lake that is going to be special place for people, for believers, for people who are going to go in paradise. They will be able to drink from this hawd, from this pool. And whoever drinks from it will never feel thirsty again after it. And there are hadiths that are mutawatirah, that come through different chains, through many chains actually. So therefore this is a very important part of our aqīdah as well. If I can say one thing about Mi'raj, Isra and Mi'raj, there are people who believe that Prophet, yes, Isra and Mi'raj happened, but it was in a state of sleeping, when he was sleeping, and it didn't happen when he was. And Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah believes that this happened while the Prophet ﷺ was awake, and it took place physically and spiritually. While he was physically and spiritually present, in the presence of his Lord and the angels, and above this heaven, there are certain things that he witnessed spiritually while he was in this journey, and there are also certain things that he also witnessed or went through physically, not just spiritually. So both of these things were taking place when Prophet ﷺ was in Isra and Mi'raj. And not that he was just sleeping and saw a dream of that. So we mentioned وَالْحَوْضُ الَّذِي أَكْرَمَهُ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى بِهِ غِيَاثًا لِأُمَّتِهِ حَقٌّ. So this is also true, the hawd. And as I said, people will be drinking from it there. Yes. And also the shafa'ah. Shafa'ah is the intercession There are many hadiths talking about the Prophet ﷺ will intercede on behalf of the believers. It will be a day when Prophet ﷺ is going to beg God for this. And we know that there is Maqam Mahmud, this praiseworthy station that Prophet is going to be in, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to grant him the shafa'ah, the intercession to Prophet ﷺ. So he will intercede on behalf of whom? Of his ummah, believers, right? Yes.
والميثاق الذي أخذه الله تعالى من آدم وذريته حق.
All right. So inshallah we're going to leave it here. Al-Mithaq is the covenant that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took from the children of Adam. Children of Adam means the whole humanity. We were there actually spiritually in a different form to witness that. If we talk a lot about this one, it would be in knowledge that we don't have a lot of details. But we can simply say what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in regards to this one. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is a verse in the Quran that He took this mithaq, as it refers in the Quran. This mithaq, this covenant between Him and the children of Adam. And what was this? أَلَسْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ قَالُوا بَلَى. Am I not your Lord? The spirits in the spiritual world, including all of us that are sitting here tonight, and everybody, whether they're Christians or Jews or whatever, قَالُوا بَلَى. They all said, indeed, you are our Lord. So the covenant pretty much is that we accept His Lordship and He has promised us to be with Him in paradise. As long as you remain loyal to believing me and going according to my instructions that I reveal down to you in this earth, you have paradise. This is the deal. And you will be with me in paradise. That's the covenant right there. Bani Adam, it says, وَإِذَا أَخَذَ اللَّهُ مِنْ بَنِي آدَمَ مِيثَاقَهُم مِنْ بَنِي آدَمَ min ظهورهم, right. So the ayah goes more into other explanations as well, but this is what the covenant, scholars they say this is what the covenant is right here. Now somebody can ask, well, I don't remember that. How do we remember that? It was a different world, the world of the spirits. And some, if I may say now, and again, this is just a commentary of certain scholars, especially those who are in ilm al-tasawwuf, people who prioritize a lot the spirituality or acts of spirituality. They mention that after the human becomes so submissive to God, and the human becomes so practical when it comes to the Islamic tenets, practicing Islamic tenets well, and goes from one maqam to another maqam, from one spiritual level to another spiritual level. So there's a journey. The believer is not stagnant where, all right, I'm just doing this and that's it. No, there is an improvement, progress spiritually. Spiritual progress from one level to another level. What is that? For example, being in a state of thankfulness. I have achieved the state of thankfulness. I'm able to maintain that on daily basis to thank Allah. I'm able to think about the blessings that He has given me on daily basis. I'm aware of all of these ayahs that call me to be like that. I know how to become, how to express, and also how to form it in myself, the state of gratitude. I know how to I have reached that understanding, that comprehension of gratitude, or comprehension of servitude, or comprehension of many other things that exist there. That's why I'm saying a believer spiritually goes from one level to another level, from maqam to maqam. Spiritual levels, we're saying, not from being poor into being average, and into being high class, and into being, we're not talking about the physical stuff, we're talking about spiritual things here. So that's why the Sufis here, they say that people who are able to reach so high spiritual levels, spiritual states, they are able to witness that internally, the time when they said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, قَالُوا بَلَى, yes indeed you are our Lord. They will be able to reach to that point where they remember that. Because they travel, not with foot, but they travel with their spirits. How? Again, I'm not going to get into details, and then it's going to take a lot of... Again, this is not the belief of everybody. I'm just saying that this is the belief of some of the scholars, some of the people who had authority in ilm al-tasawwuf, and great scholars, as a matter of fact, awliyas of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so on. But this is something to consider, what I'm saying. That is out there. Allahu a'lam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the best. We ask Him that He makes us from those who reach high levels, inshallah, spiritually. And we become close to Him, and we will have the ability to be resurrected and to be in the company of our blessed Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his companions, the martyrs, the righteous people, and be able to also see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Jannat al-Firdaus. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barik ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Is there any question or any...
What is Allah's arsh?
Huh?
Arsh means Allah's arsh.
You can tell. Arsh, it refers to the throne.